Item 14. Teresa Yeraman Garo Gazarian, and I apologize, folks, and Honora. Anyway, help me, and I do apologize. I tried.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Teresa Uremian. I'm with the Armenian National Committee of America, and I'm also the president of the East Hollywood Neighborhood Council. I want to thank you for considering item number 14, which is the funding for the Los Angeles Public Library exhibit on the America We Thank You. I am a part of the America We Thank You committee that's helped put together this 28-panel exhibit, and I'm thankful because this is a true exhibition on how the American public was able to aid and assist in their first attempt at human rights advocacy and philanthropy, rescuing Armenian Genocide orphans. So I want to thank you for sharing with us and sharing with the public this piece of important American history. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Good morning, Mr. President, honorable council members. I am blessed to serve as the representative of the Armenian Genocide Centennial Committee for Western United States, and on behalf of the Armenian Genocide Centennial Committee, I want to repeat the words, America, we thank you. City of Los Angeles, we thank you for opening your doors to the Armenian American community for now over 100 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Please come forward.
Good morning. Thank you very much. My name is Nora Hovsepian, and I'm the chair of the Armenian National Committee of America Western Region. I want to thank especially Councilman Krikorian for taking the initiative, Councilman Koretz, Councilman O'Farrell for taking the initiative in providing this funding to us. It's a very important project. As was stated, it is the Armenian Genocide Centennial this year, and we are seeking to educate the public about the nexus between Armenian and American history when America stood up to rescue Armenian genocide survivors from 1915 to 1930. And we invite you all to please come to the launch of the exhibit at the Los Angeles Public Library, the Central Library, on March 6th at 6:30 p.m. And the exhibit will be there for about 2 months. So we invite you all to come and witness what America did for the Armenian genocide survivors. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Akala? Followed by Mr. Herman.
1 minute? You're spending $10,000 on celebrating the genocide, and over here in the United States, you're killing all the homeless?
Stay on the subject.
It is the subject.
No,
the
stay on the subject.
Is the genocide of people in general. All over
That's
the
not
world.
the subject, Juan. Stay on the subject.
Okay, the Armenian Genocide is going to have a luncheon, and we need $10,000. What about the homeless?
Mr. Herman.
Mr. Speaker,
Now, don't holler from the chambers. Mr. Herman, followed by Mr. Walsh.
Thank you.
You're not on the subject.
A hoodie or a cape, I will still escape. For the Armenians owe it to us Americans who protected them and saved them. So Robin Hood is here to say to all of you, let's not be victims of Armenian genocides, but let us support Americans and homeless people in the March of 2015.
Stay on the subject.
Sir, I'm reading off the agenda. Do you mind not violating my rights under the Brown Act?
Stay on the subject or you will be
Do you understand that, Mr. Speaker? I'm down to 22, 21. Matter of fact, this is how I protect the rights of citizens under the Armenian Constitution camp. So don't vote for Krikorian.
Look, now you're off the subject. His time's expired. And for those of you, I'm sorry for the disrespect. Yes, Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. The first time I visited an LA library was 1966. We're all in favor of this. We need more information on the genocide. Remember, the genocide was done by the Turkish government, Ataturk. Let's point out all these millions of Armenians were killed. But I just want to warn anybody who goes to the downtown public library. It is dangerous. People are selling drugs there. People are sleeping there. People are urinating there. And this is going to be going on in disrespect to the Armenian Genocide exhibit. And I want to point out, I know this is controversial, there is one racial group primarily responsible for the terrible conditions in the LA library. And I'm not afraid to say it's white people. It's the white race.
Stay on the subject. Ms. Pearman, Donna Pearman, is she here? You're disrupting the meeting. Ms. Pearman, please come forward.
Mike saying it said, we love America for number 14, and number 15 was the American Genocide. But anyway, we need to stop. It's good on the Armenian Genocide because we need to stop genocide. Like we had to stop the Jewish pogroms and Russia and Germany genocide and getting Jews, Poles and Catholics, and Armenian genocides against Christians. We have today Kurd genocide. We really want to remember Armenian genocide. We need to stop ISIS, who will go against Armenian Christians. In fact, the whole world, they will go against the whole world of anybody but Islamic terrorists. So we want to remember today we can go through a genocide again today if we don't take care of terrorists. But yes, it was good to remember the Armenian Genocide, but let's stop terrorists today. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Krikorian.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Were we taking items 14 and 15 together or separately?
We can. I'd have to call up some additional general. In fact, maybe we should just do it one at a time. I could have handled that better from the beginning.
All right. Well, I'll just speak once for both, then, if I may. Members, as you all know, this marks the 100th anniversary of the beginning of the first genocide of the 20th century, the genocide of the Armenian people at the hands of the Ottoman Turks. Last year, you'll recall that we honored Near East Relief here in this chambers for the extraordinary humanitarian response, much of which happened right here in Los Angeles at the beginning of the genocide as it became known to people here in the United States. And it was an extraordinary response. And I want to thank the members of the Centennial Committee for preparing this library exhibit, which really tells an American story. It tells a story about American commitment to human rights around the world. And I'm very proud that this exhibit is going to be featured in our downtown Los Angeles Public Library. Item number 15, which you'll be considering next, is another aspect of Los Angeles' commemoration of this centennial year. There will be the March for Justice that will begin in Little Armenia and proceed through the 13th, 4th, and 5th council districts, concluding at the Turkish consulate. It will take place on April 24th. And so this provides that event will be treated as a citywide special event, and the funding that will be needed to offset some of the costs of that event will be taken from already budgeted citywide special events. Funds won't have any impact on the general fund or our reserves. This is money that's already been budgeted for citywide special events. So respectfully request your aye vote on numbers 14 and 15.
Thank you. So let's vote on 14 right now. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10.
Okay, now we'll move to 15.
Excuse me, Mr. President, for item 15, a substitute motion has been circulated. Council should first vote on whether to substitute.
Okay, let's. That'll be the first vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, if I could, would you like to testify again on item 15? Or it's up to you. So if I could get the three of you to come up, you'll have another minute. Go right ahead.
Thank you very much. I don't want to repeat what we said earlier, but I do want to express gratitude to the Council for recognizing the importance of the Armenian Genocide Centennial. It is very important because it was the first genocide of modern times, and Los Angeles is home to the largest Armenian community outside of Armenia. So it's very important to a huge portion of the citizenry of Los Angeles, and we are hoping that other ethnic, racial groups, as well as human rights groups and activists who feel that it's important to remember the genocide and seek justice for it, will join us in the March for Justice on April 24th through the streets of Los Angeles. We invite all of you to join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. As my colleague stated, the March for Justice is not a march only for Armenian Americans. It is a march for all Angelenos. And I, on behalf of the Armenian Genocide Centennial Committee, I humbly ask all Angelenos on that day to be with us to commemorate not only the Armenian Genocide, but all genocides and all crimes against humanity. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you so very much. Okay, so if I could have Mr. Previn and Donna Pierman please come forward.
Yes, Council President Wesson, it is Eric Previn, a citizen from Studio City and a candidate in the CD2 Council District race against Mr. Krikorian. I would like to lend my voice to support for a recognition of the 100 years of the Armenian Genocide, and I would like to thank Mr. Krikorian and the Armenian community for all that they've done to bring that forward. And I would like to reference that we are also, I believe, extending the art contest for art commemorating the 100th anniversary of the Armenian Genocide that will then appear on Department of Transportation buses going forward for the month of April. And I think that, that in fact, it would be very nice if we should do such a thing. I think that it was very nice that the last speaker referenced that we are not just referring to the Armenian Genocide. Of course, all genocide is abhorrent. And to do recognition for multiple groups would also be very, very exciting going forward. And
Thank you.
On a month-to-month basis.
Thank you very much. Ms. Pierman, followed by Mr. Akala. Yes.
I'm glad he said that it's for all genocide, because what happened over in Germany was a very big thing, like what happens with Armenians. And yes, we do have to remember, but we have to remember so that we cannot ever have it ever happen again. And that's what why we need to go against ISIS, so that we'll stop genocide who could happen to Armenians. We could have another Armenian genocide because a lot of them are Christians. So that we have to stop ISIS, and we have to have our president that will stop ISIS. And anyway, so I'm probably missing a lot, but I just want to see it. Okay, forget it. Oh, okay. Okay, so we need to stop all genocide, and it's thankful that we believe in it.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Mr. Akala, followed by Mr. Walsh.
It is very well that we fight for justice everywhere. The Armenians have their march every year. I used to support them because I used to go there, but one day they misunderstood me and they wanted to kick my ass. So I don't understand. There's a lot of hatred over there. And it is dangerous to be out in that march and have like 20 Armenians following you, you know, and you got to run on your bike quickly before they kill you. Anyway, yeah, I'm all for Armenian genocide rights to protest, but remember the Mexicans. Many years ago, you wiped us out over here. You colonists, you came and wiped out the Mexicans. That's another genocide that you don't talk about, do you? And you took over this country. And Now you call us wetbacks. How do you like that?
Thank you. Thank you. If I could have Mr. Walsh followed by Mr. Herman.
John Walsh at HollywoodHighlands.org. The history books say 1.5 million. It was a lot more than 1.5 million. And I want you to know that some of the people who murdered, the Turks murdered these people. I want the people, just as the Nazis and the Germans deserve to be mentioned, I think when you Armenians get up here, you should mention the horrible, vicious, vile Turks that killed your people. And I want you to know there were, during this period of time, Armenians who assisted the genocide. And those Armenians, and if you opposed the genocide, you were destroyed. And the Turks had a word for Armenians who opposed the genocide at that time. Now, the translation of the Turkish word is gadflies. I don't know whether Mr. Krikorian's ancestors, I don't know if they were pro or anti-Holocaust.
Thank you, Mr. Herman.
The spoils of war are another man's demise. But Mr. Krikorian turns his back on the subject because I, an American citizen, speak highly of how the Americans defended the homeless population, those who were oppressed, those who are oppressed.
On the subject, please.
Those who are oppressed, Dion, by the violence of war. This is the discussion today. The Armenian Holocaust was real, the same as the German Holocaust, Dion, that you don't give a damn about.
Stay on the subject. Dion is not on the subject. Stay on the subject.
So the subject I'm speaking to you about see, even the Armenians
on the
subject of the matter of their own problems. Vote no for Krikorian in District 2.
No, okay, you're off the subject. Thank you. His time's expired. Let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.